Should you do the same exercises forever, confuse the muscle by switching weekly, or something in the middle? Most lifters should keep an exercise for 8 to 12 weeks. However, follow that blindly and you'll make all sorts of mistakes. Let's start by addressing changing too frequently. You've probably heard the idea of muscle confusion, constantly switching exercises, sets, reps, and workout structure so your body never adapts. It sounds good in theory. You stay sore, training feels fresh, every workout feels different. The problem is your body adapts to repeated increasing stress, not random stress. Let's say your goal is strength in the bench press. You might start with a pretty heavy 5 sets of 5. Every week you're going to add some weight, even lowering the reps if need be to allow for load to increase. Your body receives the same signal each week. Produce more force in this movement. This is where meaningful adaptations are built. If you rotated too quickly, like going bench press, incline bench press, dumbbell bench press, weighted push-ups, etc., your body's not going to be able to make those neurological adaptations for any one exercise, and this drastically slows progress. But that also doesn't mean one exercise forever. That creates a completely different set of problems. First is progress just eventually stalls. You can't add weight, reps, or sets forever. At some point, your recovery becomes the limiting factor, and you need a new stimulus to keep progress coming. Secondly, the same joints and tissues get stressed in the same way week after week. While consistency does drive adaptation, some variation helps reduce wear and tear and keeps training mentally fresh. With that basic understanding behind the why, we realize the best answer isn't even a number, it's a principle. If you are still making progress, still feel good physically, and aren't getting bored or burned out mentally, keep the same exercise. When those things shift, that's when a change is needed. But for those who like numbers to follow, my minimum is 4 weeks for the same exercise. 8 to 12 weeks is the golden zone for most lifters, and beginners should probably keep an exercise for 16 to 20 weeks to really dial in technique. Just avoid these 3 common mistakes when deciding to rotate exercises, which also stall progress. First, you don't have to remove something completely to shift its focus. You could keep bench press in for 3 to 4 lighter sets a week to practice technique, while incline bench becomes the primary movement that you push hard and try to progress. Secondly, don't make the variations too different. A simple variation change will do the trick. I like to have 3 to 4 close variations like the examples on screen. Find some that work well for you. But don't get too crazy where you're adding bands and pauses and boxes and changing stances all at once. Third is randomly changing variations and not considering the primary adaptation that you're actually training for. Some exercises work better for different goals. Dumbbell bench press is a great option for higher rep, more hypertrophy or muscular endurance type work. However, it's a little less stable than a barbell bench press or incline press, so when moving to lower reps and heavier weights, it just makes sense to use one of those other options. If you're wondering whether it's time to rotate an exercise in your own program, leave a comment below and tell me what exercise, how long you've been doing it, and whether you're still making progress. I'll help you figure it out.